I'm sure everyone has seen the story by now of this Pocket OS company who managed to delete all of their customer data by trusting an LLM to run, routine tasks in their staging environment. I feel compelled to give some free consultation advice to pretty much anyone who's willing to listen. It is not a good idea to allow LLMs into your ecosystem in this way. In the write up that this owner did, they have admitted that they made some mistakes. There are clear problems with their backup strategy, and, they didn't know the scope of their keys and things like that. The lesson that they don't seem to be learning is that fundamentally, they should not be doing this at all. And they do recognize that Cursor has basically created a narrative that it's good to give agentic LLM agents access to these areas to complete routine work for you. This is a lie. They just want you burning tokens doing things that scheduled tasks and scripts have done for like the past however long anyone can remember. And there's no reason to break the formula of doing repeatable deterministic work with scripts and scheduled task and cron jobs. That works. You don't need agents for that. There's nothing to figure out in routine maintenance. What you can use LLMs for is if you do have troubleshooting, if you do have issues come in, if you're getting alerts, whatever, you can use them to synthesize and point you in the direction of possible fixes. But you need a human in the middle on these things because LLMs are not deterministic, and you can't put trust like make no mistakes and don't do anything dangerous in a text file and expect that it will adhere to that. There are no guardrails that will guarantee that it will do that. It will use the input to evaluate the equation of what tokens it needs to generate for the output, which decides the course of action it's going to take. If the equation tells it to bypass the safety parameters in the text file, it's going to do that. So this is just the companies, and even Claude Cowork and any other place where they're telling you, oh, just do this with an agent, let the agent run your business. Don't do that. Like they don't care. I mean, it looks bad for them when this happens, but the cycles move so fast, and the fanboys of LLMs. I hate to say it that way, but anytime anyone posts this, the first thing everyone jumps on is the customer did it wrong. And in most cases, there is some element of that. Yes, your processes could be better, and in this case, we have the this owner, did this big write up, and a lot of these things are their own fault. And then at the bottom, someone's giving him advice on how you can stop this. Like, he's just saying it's a design issue, and the owner is still not taking away the right lessons, saying he followed current standard practices for AI dev. So the narrative that everyone is believing is that they should be doing this. They should be letting the agents into their environments as long as they're being told that it can be made safe, and it can't. It cannot be made safe. It can't. And it's much more risky than having human beings do it, because if you have someone who's halfway decent, they would never have deleted a database. But because an LLM does not actually know anything, it does not know that it shouldn't do that. It doesn't know that. It doesn't know anything. It has no intrinsic knowledge of anything. So it's really kind of a con. There's not really any better way to put it. It's a con from the LLM service providers that gets you using more tokens, and it's dangerous for your business. So if you take one thing away from this, it's going to happen again and again. And every time, the first thing, if you go to the Claude AI subreddit or on X or wherever, you'll see everyone jumps in and says, "Oh, it's your fault. You didn't have the right backups." And there will always be something, even when you'll see it'll happen. Bigger and better companies with better DR policies and more safeguards, who did more things correctly, will still run into these issues, because if you don't have these agents contained and isolated, and they can grab things that are just floating out. I mean, I've worked at a bunch of companies where, and anybody who's worked at a company has probably exchanged a key or some kind of credential for like a lower environment, even over chat, through email, whatever. And if these agents can get these things, you are at risk. And the only safe way to keep them away is to not let them even near staging environments. And a staging environment, depending on the size of your company and what it's used for, can also be pretty critical. I mean, if your sales staff are using it, if your devs need it to test what they're doing actively, and it breaks horribly, you've got people who are blocked for possibly days while you get it back up and running. So there's no, again, infrastructure was working well enough without letting agentic LLMs try and do anything in your environments. They're useful for helping you craft scripts. They're useful for helping you come up with processes, but they should not be running those processes because they are not deterministic. So do not trust them. Don't believe any marketing. Just don't believe any of it. You can't, it doesn't have intellect. It doesn't have discernment. It can't decide what's right or wrong in any given moment. So it could possibly do anything. Don't let it near your environments.